Hey everyone, so I'm going to walk you through a demo of the Ventrell platform. Before we sort of dive in, I'll screen share, don't you worry, and show you everything. Just wanted to set some context. So this operating system is meant for scale. What we mean by that is it's meant for growing and controlling your business. So we've noticed it's ideal if you're collaborating with at least 5 freelancers. What some of our users have told us early on is I used to only collaborate with 5 core and then a couple other freelancers, but with Ventrell, now I can collaborate with 15 to 50 fellow freelancers seamlessly. So that's sort of the first driver is, are you collaborating with your fellow freelancers? And the second driver is clients. Our freelancers generally have 3+ projects at one time. So you can imagine the complexity if you have 5+ freelancers, 3+ projects all at one time. Quick thing on the value add. So specifically, we can add back time and slash time spent in operations. In early data, we can add back around 500 hours and enable you to take on 15 more projects. And the way we do that is sort of 3 pillars: is visibility, integration, and freelancer to freelancer collaboration. So with that, I'm going to sort of just give you 3 main use cases and scenarios. And keep in mind, what I'm showing you right now, we're sitting at November 9th. I guarantee you next week, there'll be new things that I should probably make a whole new demo for. We average around 2 big ships a month. And one of the things we're most proud of is that we sort of do provide that Tesla experience for our users, meaning our freelancers wake up and they don't know what's going to happen. They might get an update that, really, really radically transforms the way they can run their business. So with that said, let me screen share and open up the platform for you all. So what we're looking at right here is the home screen. The first thing that I want to show you is visibility, specifically the use case of what needs to get done, by when, and what's on fire. So actually, when I wake up every morning, this is what I see. It's a calendar view. It integrates all my calendars. Blue means the projects that are due. And so I wake up and I see, okay, this is what's outstanding. Like right now, we got to get the product hunt launched for a client done. The second view I look at is more of a pipeline view. And there's the pipeline that we're looking at now, and then there's also different departments. And so as we know, while we have our clients, we also have marketing. We also have potentially some operations. We might have other side projects. So for me, there's Ventrell, Human Cloud is a book that I have on the side. So this is different views and different pipeline view. When looking at this pipeline view, something really important for me is I want to know how much money I have in my potential projects, in my active projects, and projects that have been completed and awaiting payment. One reason, and sort of this is why there is some very, very specific things, but one reason that we can bring this for you is that we handle visibility in the back end. So you can control, and from a project level, if you're okay with freelancers seeing the price, or if you want to limit who can see prices. But so we see right here a classic pipeline view of potential negotiating active. Now, in regards to visibility, you might just wake up and be thinking the classic thing on the tip of your tongue, like what's going on with Coca-Cola? What's going on with that newsletter project? Or even what's going on with a specific freelancer. So we do also enable global search. So I come in here and I say, there's a client on my mind. I think it was Coca-Cola. Is something going wrong? Okay, I can jump straight to the Coca-Cola newsletter project. You also might be thinking a freelancer like, oh, wait, what's Ricardo working on right now? So I can come in and I can see exactly what Ricardo is working on. So that's the first case. It's just having visibility fully across your workflow. And think about that thing when you wake up, right? What's on the tip of your tongue, and specifically in relation to what needs to get done, by when, and honestly, what's on fire. So the second thing I want to show you is setting up a project. Sort of pre-Ventrell, as I imagine all of us know, it's usually just a spreadsheet. We've tried all the solutions, right? We've tried Trello, we've tried Asana, we've tried Notion, and they work great for a couple of months, but then we realize, oh no, the more clients we have and the more we try to collaborate, things just start breaking, and we still have more than 10 applications going on at one time. Now, what we want to do is we want to provide a workspace, which is the project that you're working on. And we want every single application to be able to fit in this workspace. We don't want to replace all the applications we're using, because we know that some of your clients are going to be using Trello, some are going to be using Asana, some are going to be using Microsoft Teams, and let's be real, most just want to go in and use email. So we don't ever want to replace these tools. Also think about your time tracking tools, your invoicing software, your contracting. We don't want to replace. what we want to do is we want to bring that all under one roof. So you have one view to see it all and one view to organize it all. And then we also are enabling automation, specifically if this, then that scenarios based off the workspace. So if you finish this milestone, then send invoice. If milestone's been completed, it's been 7 days and you haven't got paid, then send a reminder email, little things like this. So let me show you the second use case. I'm going to show you both setting up a project and the actual project workspace. So the first thing that I want to show you is in relation to the project workspace and this use case of actually managing your projects. The first thing I want to show you is setting up the project and not starting net new. We all know that when we start a project, 80% of what we do is most likely the same. Yet we seem to keep building a new checklist or building a new email. And so what we can do here is we're going to totally replicate past projects. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you a newsletter that we're doing for a client. And we can come in here and we can say, okay, I want to copy this newsletter, but we're dealing with, say, Coca-Cola this time. So I come in here, advanced options are if we want to have a due date. Each client does have their own repository. The knowledge hub is all the files we send. And so what's really important about this is if I look at this, there might be specific client collateral, brand guidelines, things that you just keep carrying over. And to be honest, you have that death to request access because you keep sending it back and forth, but you don't know who's shared in it. One huge thing is when you open up a workspace, everyone in the workspace gets shared automatically. So let's say I want to carry over. So every newsletter project, we have this human cloud design assets. We also have this is a working with Matthew. What this actually is real-time feedback. I'll tell you all about that later. But so we continue, and as we see what's going to happen is everything auto-populates. Now, something that's huge in terms of collaborating with your fellow freelancers is that we all have different working styles, meaning this might be the view that I like, but other freelancers going in, we want to make sure that everyone has their own experience. So let's say that I want to come in here and I want to shrink this. I usually like to shrink this. And then I want to make sure that this, which is the project brief, which is like running notes, I like to bring that over and I like to make sure that I can see this front and center. So this is generally the view that I like. But so the things that we're going to show you is, first off, you might not use all the modules. Think about a module as all the things that you're doing right now in a bunch of different applications. So we look at our modules, we can have members, we can have a project brief, the tasks required, the schedule, pricing, knowledge hubs. Like I mentioned, you're gonna have things like invoicing, whatever, time tracking, whatever you need, we will integrate under one roof. So we come look at these ones right here. The first thing that I want to do is I want to show you how seamless it is to add a member, and I want to show you how easy it is to customize the preferences you have when adding freelancers. I know one thing that bugs us all when using Trello and Notion is that it's really, really tough to understand who can see what and all of the permissioning required. So when I come here, and first off, I want to show you the global search, but so let's say I want to see who a writer is. I can type in and I can see all the writers that I like to work with. Similar, let's see if it's a client that's in the UK, I type in UK, I can see everyone that's here, because one huge use case beneath this setting up a project is we know you all want to set up ghost projects in terms of you want to be able to price projects, see who's available before you actually say accept. So I come in here and I add Ricardo. Now, Ricardo, there's sort of 4 different ones right now. This is customizable. But so individual contributor means he's only going to be able to see the tasks that I assign to him. Contributor, he can see everything, but can only act on what's assigned to him. Owner, obviously everything. So I come in and I want him to be an individual contributor. I add him. Let's also say, I think I showed you before, there was a pricing module. You also have this price and this cost in relation to here. Like I mentioned, we want to slash every single piece of friction for you. So I come in here, I add him. This will happen. And he said, perfect. So I come in here, I add him. As you see, sort of the tasks are auto-populated. So there's some approvals, they're creating specific pages, creating news updates. All these things are already calculated, so I'm not having to remake the checklist. Also, this brief is here, and so the goals, the time that's required, an example, and this knowledge hub, if I come in and I make it larger, you'll see that this is where I can come in and I can add all of the files. So like we talked about before, I can add this working with Matthew. What happens, so what we like to say about knowledge hubs is that it's the right files at the right time for the right people. So right files meaning it's grouped by the specific project or the specific client or the specific working team, whatever you want it to be. In terms of the right time, there's automatically, everything's getting automatically shared. So when you bring someone into the workspace, those files are getting shared amongst everybody. And when the person is taken out, the freelancer is taken out of the workspace, they're also taken out of the file, which I can't tell you guys enough how much this enables you to have strong security protocols with your clients. So this is just a very, very brief demo of the workspace in terms of it has everything that you need. It's also built to have collaboration, like we mentioned, freelance collaboration throughout the product. So there's little things like notes here on top of the actual Scoop newsletter. One thing coming up in the next week is that you can have the notes specifically. So I could click here and say, Ricardo, what's up with this? There is at mentions right now. So let's say that I come in here and I want to make sure that Ricardo looks at this specific section. I can say at Ricardo, and you can see it mentions him right there. So here's just a brief overview of the workspace. Now, the last thing I want to show you is I want to show you how we deal with your freelancer to freelancer relationship. What we don't want is we don't want a social network. We want micro networks. You don't need a 1 million person freelancer social network. You need your 15 to 50 freelancers that you love to work with and can build a deep relationship with. So first thing is, this is a one-sided network, meaning these notes on Ricardo, these rates, these are all things that I've put in so that I have a deeper relationship with him. As you're working together, you can always be taking notes with each other. Also on Venturel, the data will be collected on what projects you work on, and you can rate and score and take notes on those specific projects. So let's say Ricardo and I have been working together for 5 years. I have this beautiful database of we worked on 100 projects together. He did incredible at this, didn't do so well at this, but it's all about creating those dense relationships. Also, we want to make sure it's as easy for you as possible to know who should be working on the project. And so you can see here that these rates are the ones that he's worked with me, and then these freelancer rates are ones that he's put publicly. So quick example, he says he's 120 hour. I know if it's something that he likes, he's going to be 80 an hour. Second thing and related to tags is these are the tags that I know I've worked with him on, but he can also come in and put tags. So in terms of a sort of recap of what we showed you on the demo, there's sort of 3 pillars that we're really making sure we can enable throughout your business. The first pillar is we want you to have strong freelancer relationships. We do that by having these one-sided networks where you can have a very deep relationship with your individual freelancers. We also, one thing I did leave out, is we have a beautiful freelance relationship manager that very intentionally does look like Monday. It looks like a spreadsheet, but there's very, very strong search functionality, tagging, note-taking, and this happens at a global level. So that's the first thing we enabled for you is to be able to work and collaborate with your freelancers like this. The second thing we showed you was client management and specifically visibility and integration within your client management. So we showed you this calendar view so you can wake up and say what has to get done today, tomorrow, and the next week and what's on fire. We also showed you the pipeline view with all the different views, and we showed you the global search functionality. We also showed you the project workspaces specifically. You can see with my customer success, the oh shits. Fortunately, we have no oh shits right now. But so we also showed you within the projects. Let's say I'm, want to search human cloud. Let's say I want to search some of these projects. We also showed you within the project workspace from an integration perspective that this has absolutely everything you need to set up and execute your project successfully at scale. The third thing, the third pillar of Venturel is, like I mentioned, it's strong freelance relationships, strong client management. The third pillar is your business operations. Specifically, the more work you take on, the more efficient your business has to get. This was happening all throughout the platform. So all of the standing operating procedures that you need. For example, when you finish a newsletter project, all of that rich knowledge and data gets carried over when you copy it the next time, everything from the notes to the files to the tasks required. So that's a very, very brief demo. It's extensive, it's customizable, it's made so specifically for your unique business, and it's built to give you the bare minimum in terms of you can build off of this because it's all about your business. So thank you. We look forward to getting your feedback. We look forward to having you as a Venturel freelancer, and let's take on this journey together.